days of prayer. These are the important things that will help in life.
Amen. In a nutshell, get busy for God, and He will be able to take care of your needs because He knows better. Hallelujah. Sir, that today I've heard of people, or maybe a lady will say, I need a husband that will take care of me, take care of my family, take care of everything about her. I'll say, now I want to know, how do I handle in-laws? That's in-laws, that's the parent of the lady I'm getting married to. How do I handle them? How do I go about them?
That's a $1,000 question. How do you handle your in-laws? Such questions is difficult to answer straight because depending on culture, depending on who they are, depending on the background, there could be polarized issues. But I think the bedrock is this. But whatever wind that comes, that blows, when there is strong tide between the two people, you'll be able to weather the storm. It may be difficult to begin to count 1 to 3 the kind of problems, the kind of challenges that people go through when it comes to in-laws. But I think if the two people that are involved, if they are able to hold themselves very well, they establish very good, cordial, sincere relationship, then you'll be able to deal with issues each time they come, because for some it may be psychological, for some it may be financial, for some it may be that maybe childbearing, so there are so many issues. Except there is a particular issue that you want us to handle, we can handle it. But there is one solution that I know will help across board. Let the couple build a very strong tie. It does not matter the way that comes, whether from the wife's side, from the husband's side, there will only be wisdom to handle it. Thank you.
Mommy, please, what can you say from your own perspective about handling in-laws? Daddy has covered everything. Okay, thank you, ma. Then, back to Elder and Mrs. Sampson. How do? Is it a sin to marry and decide not to have children? If yes, how can it be justified biblically? That's one aspect of the question. Let me take it again. Is it a sin to marry and decide to not have children? If yes, how can? Okay, all right, thank you. I hope that question have been answered very well.
My sister Dorcas, please. I want to ask, as a lady, what are your expectations for marriage, or what do you look out for when you think of marriage? I've met.
If you are looking for a tall man or a short man and he is not godly, at least there is problem there. But if you are a godly sister, at least you need to have a godly husband so that you marry your vision together. That is the main thing need to be looked into. We cannot look into stature or whatever, but that is the main thing in life.
Brother Johnson, I don't know. Let me hear your own perspective, sir.
Just as she said, actually, if you are godly, the first thing you should expect in the person you want to partner with must also be godly. Now, because there are only two kinds of human beings in this world. a believer and an unbeliever. We are the ones sometimes we say this one is a nominal Christian, this one is a Jim Christian. There's nothing like that. You are either a believer or an unbeliever. And a believer, his father is God. An unbeliever, his father is the devil. So if you marry an unbeliever, your father-in-law will be the devil. So the first thing you must actually put as something you are looking in the person to marry, the person must be born again. Is godly. Now, but even when somebody is born again, there are also other issues that are necessary one to also look at. Now, one, that the person is also growing in his or her Christian life, because Christianity is not stagnant. It's a life that you keep growing. That you are born again is one thing, and it's another thing also that you are growing in the Lord. Because it takes a person that is also matured in the Lord, if it is a lady, to bring the help to you as a man. It also takes a brother that is also growing and mature to be your head as a woman, because he's going to be providing leadership. If he is stagnant, there's going to be a problem. So the person is not only that he's born again, but he's also growing in the Lord. And the third thing also that you will need to check is that the person is also weaned from the parents. The person must be weaned from his parents, from the influence of the parent, which means he will be able to take responsibility, and he will be able to accept responsibility. If he's a brother and if he's a sister, she will also be able to accept responsibility. Maybe let me give you an example. When you marry a brother that is not weaned from his parent, so anything you want to do, he will say, wait, let me go and ask my father. Whatever my father said, that's what we'll come and do in the house. You know that actually you're going to have problem in that marriage. So he has to be weaned from the parent. That does not mean that they cannot seek for counsel from the parent. That doesn't mean that they will not be relating with the parent. But he is able that he can bear responsibility. The Bible says it's not good for a man, not a boy. So he has to be a man, both spiritually, mentally, and also physically. So he must be weaned from the parent. Both also the sister. It's not that you marry a sister, if you're doing me like this, I'll go and tell my mother. Oh, you people are married, but she's still consulting the mother back before anything happens in the house. Definitely, actually, there's going to be a problem. So those are some quiet issues that you need to check and when you are married. The second thing you will need to check, actually, even your beliefs, your doctrinal beliefs. They are very important in the person you are going to marry. Because if you marry a person that don't have the same perspective, even on spiritual issues, there's going to be a problem. So you will know that what we believe, our perspective over things, they are also actually the same. At least it's not that this one is believing something different, this one is having a different belief over certain issues. So he's going to have a problem. So even your belief, your doctrinal belief, has to be actually the same. Now those are things you can also sort them out in the courtship. You can sort out those perspectives or belief, because it's not that when you meet somebody today and the next day you are married. So the courtship is the process where these things are sorted out. So but these are issues that you also need to pay attention to, even in the person actually you are going to marry. Praise the Lord.
Thank you very much for that response. Please, sir, don't drop the mic. It's this question that refers to you. Carefully considering the fact that from New Testament, Jesus was not married. Paul did not marry too. It was Peter that was mentioned to have a wife. That was in the account of Matthew chapter 8 verse 14, where Jesus visited, and it was recorded that the mother-in-law, or the mother to the wife of Peter, was ill. Is having wife relevant to a good religious or spiritual ministry life of a man? And to what extent can be said that the wife have no part in the ministerial success of a man? Let me take it again. Is having a wife relevant to a good religious or spiritual ministry ministry life of a man, and to what extent can we say that the wives have no part in the ministerial success of a man? Thank you, sir.
The Bible is very, very clear when it comes to the issue of being in spiritual authority or being in the ministry. Now let me just say that it is necessary for a believer that wants to come into spiritual authority to have a wife. Now God said actually is the help that I'm giving to the man. So as a single brother, as a growing brother, you are coming to spiritual authority. Now you are going to be dealing with people that will be as maybe let's say members that you'll be relating with. So you need a wife if you are going to succeed even in the ministry. And it's very clear. You will see when Paul was admonishing Timothy about the leaders, anybody that desires the office of a bishop is a good thing, it's a wonderful thing. But when he was giving the grace, he said that man must be a husband of but one wife. It means the wife to some extent has actually a space in the success of that man's ministry. So if you are actually in ministry and God has given you a ministry, I think one of the input that God will also give is that help, that woman that he will provide for you actually to succeed in ministry. Now, except otherwise, as we are now seeing in the comment of Jesus in that Matthew 19, when they are talking about the Pharisees were asking about marriage. Now, Jesus made a comment and said actually there are some that are made eunuch by men. There are some that are born like that eunuch. There are some actually that they decide to be eunuch for the kingdom business. Now, except if actually you are born eunuch like that, then you may not need a woman. If God is giving you a ministry, maybe God said that actually that your ministry, yes, you will be able to do it and finish it like Paul without even needing a wife. Or if you now decide that I want to just not to marry, I want to concentrate on my ministry so that I will serve God well. Yes, it's one who is glorious. But sincerely speaking, just as scripture is clear, even when you have made that kind of decision not to marry and to press on with the ministry, now the person that is married will succeed. We have more input. He will do more than you that you are not married, because there are aspects that actually a woman is to come in, because you people are partners when you are married. So it is necessary to have a wife when you are in spiritual authority in ministry, because she is going to bring the necessary for that ministry to succeed. And if it is part of God's design that, like, you know, even Paul say, even though I may want people to remain like me, but he say it's also a gift. So it's not something that you can just say, I want to just stay like that. It has to be also God that is also a program for you, that this is